Do you know what the other meaning of scat is?
Yeah, it's shit.
Scat
And
is
why are you
like
trying to make fun of a
animal
music
poo.
form? Scatting is an ancient art.
Scoopity bop boop.
It's a jazzy kind of thing.
Yeah, dude.
I just hate that word is now
You don't like scat.
associated with the form of music.
I wonder
Fair.
which came first.
Definitely the music.
Scat or music.
I think you'll find scat has been around longer than
No, but
like,
it's
people have been
slang.
shitting for, dare I say, more
No,
than 50
no,
years.
yes.
Well, let's actually just think about this. Who was the first human that was like that popped out a little scat? Was like they were walking.
Wait,
okay,
what?
well,
Hold
hey,
on.
hey.
Hold on.
Okay,
Oh, not
you know what I mean? Like
you
you're
mean the
walking
music, not the
through,
poo.
you know, going on a hunt, and then someone was like, "Ribbidi bop bop," and someone was like, "That was sick, dude. Do that again."
Is it's SC80 or SK80? Scat.
Maybe just put a cat.
I think
I don't know how to type.
scat.
To wow.
Go
Leave.
Oh, to like
leave me
scatter.
alone. Scatter.
Scrat. Yeah, I think you have to add in a little urban dictionary.
Wait. Scat singing, improvised jazz singing in which the voice is used in imitation of an instrument, a scat rendition,
Ribbidi boop.
or droppings. Okay.
Carnivorous mammals.
Wait. So, scat meaning dung from the 1950s is the poo one.
Okay.
Ugh.
Then, well, fuck you, Hushaf. Scat singing 1920s, probably imitative. So, according to Google, scat the music form came before scat the poo.
That's what I said.
Oh shit, you did say that. I was on the other side of this argument. Do you know what? Can I just be really honest with you guys, real quick?
You're gonna
Hate
cut
myself right now. This is the most embarrassing thing that has
That's
ever
ever
happened to me. Even more so when I like
And
semi
the thing
shat
is,
myself that one time in front of everyone.
And the thing is, I would want you to cut this all out, but now I don't, just because you're wrong.
Well, we got to continue the poo.
No, I don't want to open up the podcast talking about shit.
We did talk about it
we
quite
talked
a
about
bit
it
last episode.
last
Did
time.
we? Oh, we did,
Yeah.
yeah. But we didn't open with it.
And I think that's raw and real.
Oh,
Hello and welcome to the Underleveled podcast. My
Please
name is
no.
Bjorn.
please end me.
I'm Kieran.
I'm a show off.
And I don't know what we're talking about today, but if you happen to enjoy the video, watch it all the way through. There's going to be something saucy at the end for you, for sure. Hushap's going to do some real stanky stuff at the end.
Stanky.
Road to 100 subscribers.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Well, once we hit 100, will you be like, road to 200?
No, that's 1,000.
Your?
Oh,
It's
does it go from
exponential growth.
100 to
Yeah,
1,000?
obviously.
Okay.
After 1,000?
Everybody knows, like, the YouTubers' big thing, it's 100. No, your first subscriber. Then 100. Then 1,000. Then 100,000. Then 250. Then 500.
Wow.
Then mil. And then 10 mil. And then
And
nobody
then
cares
100
about that.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Speaking of YouTubers, by the way, leading into what we kind of discussed before or last night, whatever, was how
Yes. You got
I
this.
had a segue.
No,
I
you don't.
had a
You were
The
on the
segue.
segues are the
segue.
worst.
No. According to one of our
established-
friends, that
Mine elicits a response.
No.
And that means more
no,
in the
I don't
zeitgeist.
zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist of today's era of
No,
clippable content.
No,
Yours would just be
no.
skipped over, not thought about. Mine would get people mad.
So it's
which means
better
more.
Yours
to
would-
like,
Elicit a response.
regardless of whether the response is
That's
negative or
the name
positive.
of the game in social media, to elicit a response from
why aren't we
someone.
better, Hushaf? Why can't we be better?
Because then we're not going to get any attention.
That's what?
What?
I think this mindset that you've festered and with the
I'm sorry, if
collective
you want to
consciousness-
grow your channel, you have to elicit a response.
why not try to elicit a positive response instead?
Okay, do you want me to do a Mr. Beast, be positive, and then get exposed years later?
Oof, I haven't actually checked up on all the news there. I know it's deep in the psyche.
Some of it are like it's like
Zeitgeist.
whatever. It's like he fakes his stuff. I'm like, no shit, he's out to make entertainment. Of course, some of it's gonna be fake, and then other stuff is like, ooh, yeah.
Wait,
Maybe
that
you should get
Mr.
exposed
Beast
to
is
this.
fake? What?
Well,
Those weren't real.
allegations. Like obviously parts of it are faked.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
pretty obviously some parts of it are faked, but the extent to which it's being faked is
Yeah.
still uncertain. Of like just having either cast members or like
planted cast members
planted cast
Yeah,
members or
plants.
family members of employees or something participating in those challenges
and winning those events.
But it's a bit like allegations right now.
Well, Jaden Animations won one of the events.
Yeah, but that was an
She-
event with YouTubers, right? And it's all
Yeah,
for
yeah.
charity there.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
And then there's the whole thing with like essentially doing gambling, but for children,
Yeah.
where they put like the Willy Wonka chocolate factory.
Yeah, and they put like
stick
iPhones and stuff in them
in
also.
chocolate bars and the Mr. Beast bars, but that's gambling for kids.
Oh,
Which
I
we went
didn't know
through a
that.
couple years ago with loot boxes.
Oh, what was it? Syndicate.
Syndicate.
The Minecrafters and CS:GO players
That's
and stuff.
crafty, dude. Putting
is
a
crafty.
golden
But
ticket
that's
in
like
the chocolate.
it is also just
Oh.
marketing techniques that big marketing
What
firms
did,
use.
what
Literally,
did
do you remember those eggs, those Easter eggs with the like marshmallow centers chocolate
Yeah,
outside?
yeah.
They would put codes like phone codes and
Yeah,
stuff in
yeah.
there, which is gambling, but
What
like
did
for kids.
The EA CEO
Oh man.
use when they were bringing up microtransactions and it being for gambling, and there was like some stupid ass phrase that the CEO used. It was like surprise mechanic or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That sounds like
Surprise mechanic.
corporate speak. Oh my gosh, it's like I get what you're trying to get at, I guess, in that there's a way of phrasing it
that doesn't make it sound like it's gambling.
but everyone knows it's still
It's
gambling.
still gambling. Oh man, what was it?
But what
I
we
don't
did
know.
want to talk about was how stars rise and fall.
I mean,
People
right? We could be
leave
watching
legacies.
a star fall right now, Mr. Beast, depending how he handles these allegations.
Yeah.
He hasn't yet put out a response, but there's, I don't know how deep you want to talk into into the allegations.
I mean,
we
basically,
can
what we
get-
do want to talk today about is kind of how there's this weird. Well, there's a time for everything, right?
Mhm.
So it kind of started because what was that article? It was a dev for palworld, so a member of what's the developer for palworld called?
tectonic.
No, no, it's not Tectonic.
Techno.
It's
Pull it up.
Not Playway. Jeepers, guys.
It's okay. We can't know everything, you know.
It's toy or something. Palworld dev. What is the name?
Oh, I was right. Yeah, EA calls loot boxes surprise mechanics.
Surprise mechanics. There we
That's
go.
crazy, man.
I'm actually really impressed.
That makes me so mad.
Dude, what is the name of the devs for?
PC gamer.
You know, you can just Google Palworld and you'll see it. And like,
Oh, I don't actually know.
dude,
what the
why?
name is.
Do you wanna
Pocket
watch-
Pair.
Pocket Pair.
Pocket Pair. Okay. Okay. So it's this article specifically on PC Gamer where a Palworld dev was talking about Palworld and about Helldivers 2,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Both games that saw massive spikes. I think, or at launch, Palworld was like 20 million. I don't know how much
it
they
was,
saw.
it was a lot.
No, it was
disgusting.
2 million for
concurrent
Palworld
players.
and Helldivers 2 750K.
Yeah.
Obviously, because Helldivers has a bit of a higher entry. I mean, not higher entry. Not gatekeeps, but because it was only on PC and PlayStation 5 compared to Palworld, which was more accessible.
Yeah.
It didn't have as many people playing it.
But basically, this dev said spoke to PC Gamer or a journalist, whatever, about the fact that people are like, oh, these games fell off, like the games are dead, but both of them still have like 50 or 60,000 concurrent players, which by all means
Is it very good?
is very good.
Especially for Palworld,
but-
which is not a completed game.
Yeah.
And
Neither is Helldivers 2. They're both early access. Well,
No,
Palworld is early access.
Helldivers is not early access.
Really? Is it
a
full
complete
released?
game that gets updates regularly.
That seems... That to me, that still seems like
No,
it's
because
a,
they keep building out the world, adding new mechanics in, so people don't
So
get
it's
bored.
it's an
It's a
unfinished
live
game, though.
service.
No, it's a live service game. There we go.
Ah,
Yeah.
That is not an unfinished game.
Live service just means unfinished.
No, it doesn't.
It
No.
actually does. It 100% does.
No, because
corporate
you
speak.
put out no.
It's corporate. Thank you, Kieran. It's
No,
corporate
you
speak
put out
for unfinished.
because you put out an online game. Obviously, you have to keep working on it because things are going to happen, things are going to break. You need to make sure that's running smoothly, and you want to keep implementing new things to keep your fan base coming back. New
Yeah.
mechanics, new guns, new
No, for sure.
planets, new
For
enemies.
sure, but that technically still means that it's an unfinished game.
No.
Regardless.
It's an
because
ever
when you
it's
in your
ever
mind,
evolving.
a finished game is God of War, like an RPG coming out,
No. To
and
me,
you're never gonna update it again because that's the game. It's complete.
That's
But
the
for a
game.
live service game that's always gonna have concurrent players constantly playing it, you need to keep at it. And
no, but literally, Hushaf, like the definition of something being unfinished is that there are still things to be added before it is like.
but there is
completed.
not like core mechanic things that still need to be added. The
No,
game
no,
is
that's
thick.
not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. Like definition wise of
Yeah,
the
let's-
word unfinished.
Let's Google the definition of
No.
live service game.
No, wait.
No.
Oh, no, which
but I'm not
of which
arguing
one?
about like live service being like a new-
Unfinished.
I mean
Unfinished game.
unfinished.
So you're telling me World of Warcraft, Overwatch? I mean, Overwatch is an unfinished game. I'll give it that. Overwatch 2, Apex, League of Legends, Dota.
Like, technically,
You saying
yes.
they're all unfinished
Technically,
games?
Yes. Because the devs are still constantly having to add new stuff to it. So technically, it will either never be finished until they like shut down the servers, or they stop working on it, or whatever. Like unfinished, not
You-
finished, or concluded, incomplete. Which
You were definitely that guy
You're
in the
really
cinema.
going in on this one.
In the cinema when
Incomplete.
you're that guy in the cinemas watching like a comic book movie and being like, that wasn't in the comics. That's not canon.
actually,
Oh.
in
I don't know why you're fighting me on the
You just
definition
hate
of.
fun.
First of all, of course. Second of all, I don't know why you're fighting me on the definition of unfinished.
No, because it's finished.
It's
It's
not.
done.
It's not.
Oh,
Hushaf, think about it for a second. If they still have to add shit to it, it is. I'm not saying that the like live service games are technically like the whole
Yes.
point is that they're continually adding to it. I'm not saying it is not like a genre of gaming that exists.
Now we're triggering a reaction from the audience.
But I'm just saying that based on what it means to be unfinished and that there are still things constantly having to be added to the game,
Yeah.
they are technically unfinished and will never be finished games by virtue
so
of
your
that fact.
Stardew Valley is unfinished.
No,
Why?
because
It just
the
got an
1.
update.
The 1.
That means you're still working on it.
Hushaf,
That means it's not a finished
Hushaf,
game.
It
the
got an
1.6 was the final update. So technically,
Maybe he said that. No, he didn't say that. He said for now it is the final update.
Well, they're gonna
Okay.
make a.
Let's.
They're gonna make another one.
Yeah, yeah.
They're gonna
Then
make
by
Stardew Valley 2.
definition, fine. Stardew Valley is an unfinished game. Done, dusted. I've got no qualms about that. No qualms
So
whatsoever.
anytime
No
a game
qualm.
releases a DLC, it goes to being unfinished.
No,
No, it's
That's
finished,
different.
but it has an additional content added on.
because remember, you buying something.
But
to
that's
add on.
technically unfinished.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You're buying a separate game essentially.
It's unfinished.
No, it's not.
By your definition, it's unfinished.
Okay, fine. Fuck you, dude. It's unfinished. I don't care. If you are still adding to a game that you have technically like purchased or
Yeah.
whatever, which is a whole different thing that by the way, I don't know if you guys saw that thing out of the EU where what's that? It's the racing game that got the servers got shut down and then the single player mode was unplayable because it was
Whoa.
technically always online.
I didn't hear about this.
Rocket League,
No. I need to just double check.
a racing game. Like, is it very
EU,
popular? Or it's like kind of niche.
Car
Not like Formula
game,
One or anything.
Carbon tax. Let's go.
Servers closed. I don't know. It's
You're just hitting those keywords.
yeah, paid online racing games shutting down for good. Dude, is it no, not Gran Turismo. It's the second installment of this game. Ubisoft, The Crew. Okay.
Oh, I
did you
remember
hear-
this. Yeah.
So the Crew, the second Crew game got shut down, but now it is an online game
Mm.
and you can play online. But there is a full single player campaign.
Yeah.
Right. Ubisoft shut down the servers for the game because whatever, not popular enough. I didn't look that far, but they shut down the servers, and then everyone who has fully like paid the full price for this game and has been playing it can no longer play the single player game.
Yeah.
Which-
That's wild.
Because it is a always online game model. So all those people now
Yeah.
in the EU, it's called like Stop Destroying Games. I think is a movement essentially that they're trying to start, where it's like, hey man, we paid full price for this. We want this game. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why are you taking this away from us? It means we haven't purchased it. We're renting it. So technically, it's like the contract is null and void. And Thor from Pirate Software actually spoke on it about this EU movement, and he had like a couple issues with their phrasing and so on, not necessarily with the whole idea. Thor is very anti like live service technically, and he's like very anti corporations doing shitty
Yeah.
things to the gaming industry. But he got a bit of backlash for whatever reason, regardless. So what was the point
Yeah,
of
it's
this?
in the same thinking. This is why we've seen a resurgence in DVD sales.
Because it's
People
physical
want
media.
people want to
Media.
own it.
Yeah.
People are not considering piracy much more important than it was
Yeah.
before because it's also preserving media. Because like an example that happened now, well not now, happened last year, but there was a TV series for Greece, as in the movie Greece.
Yeah.
They had a TV series.
Okay.
Didn't do really
About
well.
what? Is it the same story?
It's the same story, but like no, I didn't watch it, but it's the same characters kind of, but now told through a TV series, whatever. Didn't perform really well. I think it was on Paramount, and then it got cancelled, and it was shown exclusively only on Paramount's streaming platform. It wasn't shown on any TV stations or anything in America. So it got cancelled, and they pulled it off, and they never had any physical releases or no DVD or nothing. So that piece of media is gone if it wasn't for people pirating it and now having it online. And that's a very scary thought. That
it is
that people
wild.
could put like their heart and soul into creating a piece of art or media, and a corporation will be like gone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gone.
Which is what happened with I don't know if you know about the Acme vs. Wile E. Coyote movie, which Warner
No.
Brothers used as a tax write-off, and we'll never see the release of that movie now. Well, they're in the process of deleting it apparently, according to David
Okay.
Zaslav, and apparently it did like really well with like early audiences. That and then the Batgirl movie, which was also used as a tax write-off, and we'll never see it, even though both those movies were completed.
Yo,
Like
How,
100%.
how does it
completed.
work as a tax write-off?
yeah.
I'm not sure exactly, but if like you don't release it and you don't recuperate any money through the sales, you're able to get a certain percentage or a certain amount back. Because sometimes they're like not sure if they'll make the money back, and so instead of making a loss,
Yeah.
they can just balance the books again.
There's this interesting
Crazy.
business model that like Amazon follow here in South Africa, like what's it, Bolt and Mr. Delivery or Uber Eats, all those kinds of things. So how it works with these massive corpos, basically, if you run at a loss, it's not a 1-to-1, but basically, as long as you are running at a loss, you are like untaxable essentially.
Yes.
And then
Um,
when you start making a profit, the total amount of like taxable income or taxable profit is reduced because you ran at a loss for all those years. So with Uber, right? And now you're seeing it with Bolt, you're seeing it with any kind of like delivery / taxi, whatever service, where they run at losses for years and their prices are relatively cheap. And now you talk to anyone, like all of our friends, like, holy shit, the markup price on Uber Eats is ridiculous. Why am I paying so much more compared to like 2-3 years ago? It's because now they're trying to push it to run at a... Same with Netflix.
Yeah.
Any kind of video streaming platform as well. They
It's all
run
running
at a
at a
loss for
loss.
years, so it's untaxable. Look,
Not
I'm not a
untaxable.
tax lawyer, but essentially you pay
Yeah.
significantly less taxes, and then when you start running at a profit, your amount of tax is reduced to essentially like balance those years where you ran at a loss.
I think like a lot of times you'll see like some big I don't know how it works in the rest of the world, but I know this is what happens in America. You'll see like some big American company be like they're like in so much in debt, and you'll be wondering
Yeah.
why. By keeping themselves in a certain level of debt, they keep themselves in a certain tax bracket.
Yeah.
As soon as you clear that debt, like the amount of tax they pay almost triples. So by having debt that you don't necessarily pay off, you get a bigger tax break.
So I wonder if that is the thing that's happening now with like massive studios like Disney, where essentially you can do the full production and run at a loss for the duration of the production of that film. Okay. And if it technically never gets like any kind of profit, you will never be taxed on it. And the fact that you ran at a loss on this project gets somehow like flipped over onto a different part of your industry. Like,
I didn't need like this shit confused the shit out of me.
it is no, it's hella scary. I don't
Like-
know half the stuff I learned about tax. I've watched like a YouTuber or four, and on top
Most
of that,
my stuff I learned about American tax was me, because Man United were owned by American owners, and I always wondered, they are one of the richest families in America. They own several sports institutes, and I was wondering, why do they keep Man United in so much debt? And I read like a couple of finance articles about why particularly they did for Manchester, and that kind of led me to reading other articles about why other corporations do similar things in America. And I was like, wow, there's like an entire game these people are playing, just like finding
Hundreds, dude.
loopholes like left, right, and center. And then you throw in how they also pay for politicians to lax laws on them.
Mhm.
It's
Yo.
What
It's-
was it?
yeah.
Did you see that German comedian? He got elected to, like, he ran and got elected to the German parliament, and it might be Dutch, potentially German, but essentially he got elected, and then he said, it's fucking insane that what happens is the House of Parliament, okay, they do their laws, whatever. The moment there's like a recess or it finishes, all the politicians walk across the road to like a community hall or like just the social parliamentary building, and all the fucking VIPs of all the major car brands, Mercedes is there, BMW is there, all the major corporations and like any major like business owner is essentially in that building,
Mhm.
prepared to have chats with all these politicians, seeing where to put their money. It is insane.
Yeah, it's a pay to win system.
For
This
sure.
is what we live in today's society. Fun.
We're a live service game.
we
Just let it sink in.
We're a live service game.
we're a live service game.
Yeah.
We're constantly getting updates.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're shit. We can't have to constantly keep paying. Are often disappointed by what we buy.
Go on. Go off, King.
Where did we hop off for this train? The point was that Helldivers and palworld, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This palworld dev was essentially clapping back at people, saying that their games are dead by
Mhm.
saying, no, these are still very good.
It wasn't just games. It's like big gaming journalists
Yeah.
who are like just trying to clickbait and stuff,
Yeah,
which
but-
is
So it got me thinking of, even me, I fall into this trap sometimes of, because you look at percentages. So instead of like, if you say palworld's player base fell off by 95%,
it's true.
it's true, and it seems really bad. But if you look at the total number of players, it's still phenomenal for that kind of game.
Yeah.
Like, but because depending on how you phrase it, if I look at palworld, I'm like, oh, it kind of like it fell off, I guess, and it creates a negative kind of idea. But so then I just got thinking about like different areas wherein, like, whether we're talking about games or content creators, of, if I look at a YouTuber I used to watch, okay, and they used to be smashing like crazy amounts of views, and then it's been 4 or 5 years, and they're like maybe 20%, no, sorry, like a 20th of their actual subscriber base watches their videos. Like a great example was probably PewDiePie, where he does these vlogs every once in a while. He has more than 100 million subscribers,
Yeah.
but his video views are like 1 million to 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so technically, a 100th of his like subscriber base watches his content, which by all measures, it's 1%. 1% of his viewers, quote unquote, watch his videos, which is kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very bad like statistic to throw out there. So just, I don't know, do you guys have any thoughts?
Yeah,
Have you any video, like, YouTubers that you've watched that technically fell off? What do you think it is falling off? What's your vibe? What's your
so the
feelings?
thing is, like, with PewDiePie and his subscribers, especially for someone who's been around for that long, you got to think about how many people created just a random YouTube account just to subscribe, never used it again. Some people just subscribed and then just grew out of the content and just never unsubscribed. Bots, like, all of this like goes into, and that's why that percentage is so low. I think if you look like for more like current YouTubers, like if you kind of look at your Kaisenat's YouTube channel or Queso's, kind of like the streamers, their ones actually come more actually are closer, the percentage wise, to their actual subscriber count, because that is all new people currently watching. But as you look at older YouTubers who've been around longer, their percentage is much smaller because, again, like what I said, grown out of, have accumulated more bots, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any examples? Like, who is there? Someone you still watch?
I think definitely if you look at KSI,
Okay.
if you look at his channel now, if you see the amount of views he pulls in on just his channel, not the Sidemen channel, it's definitely a fraction. And I think I am currently still subscribed to KSI's YouTube channel, but I think he doesn't use this one anymore. This one is just for music, and then his second channel has become what his main channel used to be.
Isn't that his reaction channel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's the main channel now. This is now the music channel.
Okay.
How do you find his other channels? There used to be a tab that was like channels.
Just go KSI HD
Playlist?
or I think KSI Ology BT. I'll just put KSI channel 2.
KSI. So, because you can see on his main
Yeah.
channel is music, right?
So I think like a big factor for these YouTubers who've been who've been on the platform longer is a lot of their subscribers have aged out of their content, but have just never unsubscribed. Because like, how many times do we rarely go and unsubscribe to a channel unless the
Yeah.
creator is really problematic?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's interesting, eh?
I mean, I recently went through my the things I've subscribed to, like for the first time in maybe
Scroll up,
3 or
honestly,
4
it's
years.
Like, so 2.2 out of
So his second channel.
2.2 out of 16.3. It's still really well, but that works
Mm.
out to, let's see.
It's divided, so 12.5%.
That's
Did you actually do that in your head?
Yeah.
What, you got like an abacus in there?
that?
But if it is 12.5%, I'll be very
What are you, a
impressed.
calculator?
Well, what was his total? Was
16.3, so somewhere around 12.5.
13.5.
Fuck. Okay.
Yo.
Close.
Very-
What-
Make it
1% off.
make it 16. Did you do
I did 2.2 divided by 16.3.
I did 2 by 16, so technically.
You did the fucking easy calculation.
No, but you also took the
I took the exact.
He did it in his head, which
No, but anyone could do whole numbers in their head.
not me.
don't make me bring up the math. What you did.
I know what I
Wait,
did.
what math did you do? Remind me?
Which maths?
What math did you do in high school compared to us?
Oh,
Oh.
lit.
It was lit.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were gonna give an example of something that happened recently, where
No,
Kieran
no,
was
no,
like,
no.
"Dude, if I eat
What's
4
9
apples,
plus? What's 9 plus 10? 21. For all you millennials out there.
Yo,
that is a classic.
I
meme.
know that at
That
least.
is a classic.
I know
meme.
that.
But yeah, so it is. I don't also.
So okay,
like-
okay. So yeah, while we're talking about fall off, would you consider this a fall off? 13%, 13.5%.
I think there's just like a normal curve that things follow. It can be different. Like in my head, I'm thinking of the Hawk Tour girl, right? Where
Oh,
she's
man,
built an
Hawk Tour.
entire like.
That makes me so angry.
So if you don't, do you know about this?
I do,
Kieran?
yeah.
Okay, so on the street side interview, she goes, "You gotta go do that hot tour on a dude's dick or
Yeah.
whatever."
Yeah.
And she then within like 2 weeks has like a podcast and a YouTube channel. Like she has like a manager and a team, everything. Built an entire media empire in 2 weeks.
So
crazy,
like
dude.
yes, it's a very funny thing. The way she went Huck to her is like, got like a giggle out of me. The memes, great, whatever.
Is that your entire internet personality now?
What, going Huck to her?
Like she ends her podcast and like, don't forget, guys, Hawk Tour.
So yeah, my thing is like, you subscribe to a podcast because they're you're interested in the creator.
By the way, I don't know if she has a podcast.
No, she does.
Okay, there we go.
You're interested in the creator. You're interested in the content.
Mm-hmm.
What about this woman who just said Huck to her, who you know nothing about, that you want to build this media empire around?
Mm.
Why? Like, what about it makes it her like this will be a linchpin for media to come?
Sure.
She like I've seen interviews with like she's not. It's you spelled it wrong.
I think you'll find most of the internet spelled it wrong.
Tour.
What is this YouTube channel? What do you know what it's called?
No idea. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's I don't know if it's just on Spotify or whatever, but it's her and some other girl together. But yeah, what about it is like we will build this media empire around her. People will flock to her. But I mean like, you know, secure the bag, girl. Like, get your money. If there are dumbasses out there who want to throw money at you, take it. I would do the same thing. But like, how long are you going to be able to stay relevant?
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? So this could be like a meteoric rise to
Yeah.
it, then immediately drop off.
I think it will definitely be
Whereas
a media
it
drop
could
off.
happen.
I think a lot of the time what happens is if you are a long-standing creator, right, you'll make videos for a year, potentially get like picked up, and then you like skyrocket a fair amount for like 2 years, and then there's
And it falls
almost like a leveling off.
Yeah.
Where then you hit your actual like normal kind of subscriber count where you have a dedicated audience that then sticks with you for a while.
Yeah.
And then potentially you might see like rises and falls throughout your career. Who knows? But worst case scenario, you completely fall off like one Boogie 2988 that Hushaf is rearing to talk about. But so my like Haley Welch. No, this is
Josh, look at this.
I-
like, just
I don't know about
And
her
also,
YouTube channel or
there's
anything, bro.
talks around her getting her own reality show.
Oh, so that's the thing, right? Like, she's
That's
a
a lot,
meme,
dude.
and then she like has now got all this crazy stuff going on. I don't get it. Whereas like KSI obviously made videos on FIFA whatever for a long time,
Yeah.
and then got popular alongside all his mates. They made the Sidemen. It was like a big rise, and then a leveling off to now it's like pretty
So
standard.
I think with KSI and him being one of the older YouTubes, he did what many others couldn't do from his time, and that was evolve his content with the times. Like, imagine you wouldn't have the same level of success if he stuck to making FIFA videos every year, which there are still people who he played with back in his original FIFA days who still to this day play FIFA, and now it's just like, if you're in the FIFA community, you know about them, but like they haven't grown since then. They like I mean, like, they have grown, but they haven't like grown to the way that him and his friends have by evolving their content, and a lot of other people did that. If you think of like another big YouTuber who was coming up at the same time, did you know actually KSI had more subscribers than PewDiePie at one point?
I can imagine so, because
Yeah.
PewDiePie
In
got
the early
big in like
days.
2013. He was playing like the scary games.
2012,
amnesia
like,
and
yeah.
all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, this is his channel's name. I'm not saying the word, but Nigga Higga was
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dude, I used to love
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
his stuff.
So he was also like a product of the time where more short form content and skits were like very popular, and he like blew up. And then he never managed to evolve himself and his content at the time where he now
Ryan
has
Higa, by the way.
yeah,
is
Ryan
the-
Higa is his real name. I think he has a dead channel. I think he tried a podcast. I don't know if it's still active, but I'm pretty sure his channel is dead at this point. Like, I never hear about him. I never see him in my recommended.
I seen him playing, like streaming sometimes with other big streamers in the space.
20.9 million.
So,
So
when
is
was
it
the
like-
last time that he? Yeah,
4 years ago. So yeah, it's a dead channel.
Pretty. And before that, he was doing podcasts.
Yeah.
Okay. To be fair, at this point, he had been doing like skits and stuff for 17 years.
So
He was one of the OG
yeah,
YouTubers,
he is one of the
dude.
oldest. Sort by popular. I want to see what actually ended up. I wonder if it was one of
I
his.
think what's it? Nice Guys, yeah. Nice Guys finished last.
How to sing.
That's
like,
why I'll treat
I
you
don't
like
know who
trash.
this is.
Cause
You know
do you
that?
not know
Yeah,
that song?
I know
I've
Nice
never
Guys.
seen this.
How to
person's
sing like your
content.
favorite artist had YouTube like in a stranglehold back in the day. That's a goated video.
11 years ago. What? 2013, 2012.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
I recommend going through. Well, maybe it hasn't aged great, but
No,
a
there's
lot of-
definitely something that has not aged great.
Okay. But so this is, full on dead channel, but that's also, I think, personal reasons where he kind of like probably got over it.
And
'cause-
plus, he made his money. He probably invested elsewhere.
Do you think his channel is still making any revenue?
100%.
Probably.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I'm sure it
So when we
is.
say dead channel, we mean like
no longer
no
uploading
longer
videos,
uploads.
or when they do upload, it is like the tiniest possible fraction of
Yeah.
their like actual viewer base watches
Okay.
them. And I think
That's
it's a
crazy.
fear. I remember watching Dr. K actually.
Oh, yeah?
Shout
Shout
out,
out.
shout out.
What a legend.
Classic. Kieran, every time you mention anyone that you know, you're like,
Dr.
shout
K.
out. Dr. K
No,
was
I don't.
on, what's it, the podcast with Emiru and not Tech, is it Tech
steak and eggs.
Steak and Eggs and Asmongold,
Yeah.
where he was saying that everyone in the creator space, and like Dr. K, if you don't know, has Healthy Gamer GG,
Yeah.
which is he realized the mental health crisis in gamers specifically, because it was something he'd gone through with addiction and like, nihilism, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But he also like does a lot of workshopping with creators and mental health for
Yeah.
creators. And the big thing him and his team noticed was that all creators have this thing of like, it's gonna, like, especially the ones that are currently on that wave.
Imposter syndrome.
Yes, but actually, like, the main thing is it's gonna end.
Yeah.
I need to strangle as much as I can out of it now, otherwise it's gonna end, and I won't have.
Then what do I have?
Yeah. So it's this fear of it ending
Mm.
that oftentimes drives them to work like 60 to 70 hour work weeks. Like
Yeah.
you always hear YouTubers burning out, talking about how they never stop working, always thinking about the channel. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but same,
You become a slave to the algorithm when you hit a certain point, and you're like, I've got to keep being relevant. I've got to
Yeah.
keep putting out, because as soon as you take a break, there's someone else in the algorithm who's going to replace you.
yeah.
Because as we, the audience, we have access to so much. Like if one of my favorite content creators doesn't put out a video today, I'm just gonna watch something else.
Yeah.
I'm not like there frothing. I'm like, I'm only gonna watch this content creator. If they're not gonna upload today, I'm not gonna watch YouTube. There's
Yeah.
something for me.
Yeah, there's always something else to watch.
And so there's
Exactly.
also,
Yeah.
again, like you said, like the fear they'll find someone else who's maybe better, which is why I said imposter syndrome.
Right.
Because a lot of YouTubers and podcasts have also talked about that. They're
Mm.
like, why am I famous? Like, why do people want to watch me?
Mm.
And when are like people gonna realize I'm not that entertaining?
Yeah. And so Dr. K's whole thing is like, A, horrid for your mental health,
Yeah.
and B, kind of untrue. Like they found that if people do take a step back, not only does the stuff they make become better
Mm-hmm.
because they're just happier as human beings, but the actual audience doesn't necessarily migrate as fast as they think it will. It's just like
True.
it's this thing that it's the fear of, I don't know, it's the fear of like missing out, or the system itself has instilled this kind of fear into big creators, or because of this rise that they get, right? It's this thing where like the moment you get some kind of backwind, you feel like you have to like make the most of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Mm.
you guys have maybe experienced in other parts of your life as well. Like if you are playing a video game,
You have to take that opportunity. is
like
what you're saying.
if you're on a roll with your like a video game that you're playing, you're like, I'm actually like I'm in a groove. I'm in that like sweet spot. I
I'm not
need
gonna go to
keep-
sleep till I finish the level.
And I think maybe with something like Hades as well, or like roguelites, where it's very skill based, very fast paced, where it can maybe take like, I don't know, 10 or 20 minutes to dust off your fingers for the next day of gaming
Yeah.
before
That's,
hopping
yeah,
right in. Like
definitely something.
you don't want to lose that like wave that you got going.
like when you're fighting an Elden Ring boss
Mm.
and you've died 10 times, but
Yeah.
like you're like, I got him down to like a third of his HP.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep going
Mm-hmm.
because
Which is
I can do this kind of thing.
also a fallacy, kind of,
Mm.
because if you were to like, if you had limited time and you played maybe an hour or two of Elden Ring, right? You failed against this boss a bunch, but you
Yeah.
like notice something. If that's all the time you have, then you can spend the rest of your day like while you're doing other stuff, kind of like thinking about it a bit more. Maybe the next day, what you've learned has sunk in more,
Mm-hmm.
and you're less frustrated coming into it, and you'll potentially take less time to beat this boss
Yeah.
in game, because you've had that chance to take a step back, reset. Like the wave is a myth, or like the wave of like, or the the backwind lulls, like it gives you this weird, it's like a lie that you're telling yourself that
Yeah.
you need to make use of it now. Sorry, Husha,
True.
do you want to say
No,
something?
no, I was saying like what you're saying does ring true. Especially you brought up my example with Hades. I remember like the one night I was trying to beat one of the bosses. I think it was the third level in Hades 1, and I kept getting so close and so close. And I
Mhm.
was like, I'm so close. I can do it. And I was like to 3
Yeah.
a.m. and I just couldn't. Went to sleep. Woke up the next morning. Had breakfast. Sat down. Did it my first try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smash it, right?
Yeah.
It's giving yourself, your brain, just the chance to actually process
Yeah.
what has come into it. Dude, it's such a scary world, and I've got this thing as well with like this podcast or whatever else we do, right? If my like career takes off a bit more, whatever happens, like the moment I guess you're in charge of yourself as well. Like if as a freelancer,
Yeah.
all my time is kind of, I'm in charge of every single part. If I wanted to work 18 hours today, I'd hate myself, but I could feasibly do it.
Yeah.
And you don't switch off because you're thinking about like, maybe I should practice this skill more,
Yeah.
or do some studies of that or whatever. And I don't know, even being aware that this wave is a lie that you tell yourself, I don't know if I'd be able to not like fight against it at all and be like, actually pause. Take a step
You'd
back.
ride the wave.
Like I'd for sure, dude.
you're on that
I'd be
wave.
huffing that shit
Yeah.
because I imagine it feels good. Like
Yeah.
if you're a creator that's coming up and suddenly you've been working for like a year, streaming every single day or putting out videos every single week, and then suddenly things start like you start getting the reward,
Mhm.
right? You're getting reward for all your effort. There's the
That's-
feedback. The
definitely gonna
feedback
spur
is
you
so
on.
strong that
Mm.
I don't think I'd be able to fight it whatsoever. I would just be like, guys, we're doing 4 weeks of straight recording podcasts
Yeah,
every
4
single
weeks.
day. And we're gonna edit the shit out of them. We're gonna do crazy, like we're just gonna up production. We're gonna buy a studio. We're
Yeah,
gonna do
we're gonna
everything.
have a studio. I
Guys
mean-
were broke. I don't know how it happened.
Okay,
But
then,
that is good. There's positivity in that as well. There is that, like, finally getting that benefit.
yeah,
That
To a
and then
certain degree, but
can-
you have to
and then
also
you can build, right? So, and also, I don't think you think about it like probably when you're blowing up or like a YouTuber's blowing up, like your thought is just like, holy shit, this is happening now.
yeah.
I got to do something, like, because I've been making content before this for what, like however long, and now it's the time. The time has come, and you have to just jump on the wave.
Yeah.
I agree with you to a certain point, but I also feel like you have to measure your expectations.
Yeah, of course.
Because if you look at like professional athletes, especially like NBA players, who get like drafted very high, they get like $1 million contracts straight away,
Yeah,
and then they just blow it all.
yeah,
Because they're not measuring the expectation and how much money they're gonna get. And you look at athletes who were very successful, earned a lot of money, are now broke in real life because they never planned ahead. And
sure.
it's the same with now. Like, yes, we have all that attention now, but we need to measure that expectation. We need to think about long term and how we can retain that audience. Because say this video hits and it's like 10 million, we have to think about, okay, how much of that 10 million are we going to retain? We can't have that expectation that every time it's going to be 10, 12, 13, going to keep growing. We're going to level up. We're going to dip.
Yeah.
And then we have to have a meeting ourselves, be like, how can we evolve the content?
Yeah.
How can we maybe bring back old audience or look towards a new audience? And it will be a great feeling when we hit like a 10 million video. But yeah, we just have to always just remember, measure those expectations.
Do you think, like, when it comes to the social media game, or pretty much, I think most things, do you think just being older helps?
100%.
Like, do you know?
What do you mean?
Like,
But there's also like being young. There's also like you're
An advantage.
unafraid. Yeah, because you're
Yeah.
unafraid.
it does have its advantages,
Yeah.
but you often, like, even if you think about child like film stars, right, or anyone that got into it when they were young, they always talk about like how they lost their childhood or how like all the mistakes they made in their early 20s. And don't get me wrong, I was
Yeah.
like a dickhead for a long time. I got that younger brother syndrome down pat, dude. Like, don't stress. I've been a little shit. That's why I recognize, like, talking with people. Let's say someone does something, and I'll like be like to the person next to them, or sorry, regardless. Like, I can recognize when someone's being shitty, even though other
Yeah.
people can't, because I'm like, I did that. I know exactly what's happening right now. I
Okay.
know how to be a shitty person. Don't worry. And just like knowing the stuff I got up to in my like late teens, early 20s, without having fame, without having that massive ego. Don't get me wrong. I think when you're like a young dude, like a young adult dude, your ego is big, man. Like, I don't know about you guys, but humble happened very like few and far between. But if I then had fame to bolster that, if I had money to bolster that, if I had all these things, I can imagine I would have just been like a massive douche, and then ended up regretting a lot more if I ever came out of that like spiral.
Yeah.
So like being older seems like an advantage because you actually have like worked service industry
Yeah.
jobs,
Yeah,
or
you have
like Hushef did 15 different degrees, so he actually has knowledge.
I mean,
Yeah.
we can, speaking of knowledge, we can actually look to YouTube and look at the creator KSI. Came
Yeah.
up when he was young,
Yeah.
kind of watched him grow up, and make some mistakes, apologize, whatever. And then on the other side, you get someone like Aiden Ross, also blew up very young, but has not like learned from any of the mistakes that he made, and continues to double, triple down on.
Did you see I did Trump stream?
Yeah, you see, he's also in a little bit of trouble with the government
No.
because
Why?
he
What
gifted
happened?
Trump a
Cybertruck.
Rolex.
Oh.
And a Cybertruck, but when you gift you can't gift a presidential candidate above a certain amount.
Oh.
Of
Like, this is
money?
bribery.
Yeah,
No.
so he's being investigated, But I think it's because I called the CCE or something, whatever. But yeah, Hassan pointed it out, and he got very mad at Hassan.
Yeah, because imagine the president
He's like,
was
Hassan,
like,
you snitch. They
shout
wouldn't
out.
have known.
I don't think Aiden Ross is trying to influence the election, by the way.
It's like the presidential speech is like, and I'd like to give a shout out to Aiden Ross, folks, great creator.
It's such a
That was my
weird
Trump.
like political move because Aiden Ross's audience cannot vote. Who are you
his
campaigning
audience
to?
is-
Why are you on the
yeah.
stream?
It's no, never mind. I was gonna say something really dumb. Anyways, what was the whole point of this? So being older
yeah.
feels
Yeah,
like
being
an
older,
advantage.
you've got more experience
Yeah.
with life. You've
Okay,
got-
so we've looked at YouTubers who've grown with the time, KSI.
Yeah.
We've looked at YouTubers who've now not really fallen off, but their channels are dead in Ryan Higger. But it wasn't a natural decline. It was just like they realized
Yeah.
they couldn't evolve their content anymore.
Or they just found they were done because
Yeah.
they've been doing a career for 15 years, the same thing. And like I think with most people, you do a career for 15 years, you either want to like get a promotion or change
Yeah.
things up or whatever it might be.
I think we shouldn't have done Ryan Higger. I think we should have talked about Filthy Frank as somebody who
Yeah.
realized it was time to step away from the platform.
To be fair,
And
Joji then went on to do
Joji has done really well. I'm not saying he fell off, but I'm saying when we look at YouTube content creators, he realized the content that he was making, he could not evolve it
Yeah.
with the channel, and he didn't want to do it anymore. He had other stuff. So he was one of those few people who had very public, what's the word for, not kind of like a farewell, like goodbye
Yeah.
YouTube, to go do his other things. And then after that, you get people who
Cling to it, dude.
cling to it. You can watch their subscriber count going down, the views going
Yeah,
down.
so elephant in the room,
Wow.
Boogie2988.
Yeah, so a lol cow, basically.
Like so you keep mentioning lolcow.
Hmm.
What is the origin of this?
I don't know the exact origin of the word, but a lol cow is basically somebody on the internet that we all gather around to laugh at because they're just so unaware of themselves and how they come across. And it's just, fun to just laugh at somebody who's, I guess, not in a great situation, but somebody who has like this fame and fortune and is like we're actively watching them throw it away because they're just stupid.
So when you were talking about like NBA players and stuff that get crazy big contracts and then throw it all, Boogie spent all of his cash on like hookers, essentially like
Hookers, video games, arcade machines.
yeah,
A Tesla.
yeah. Do you know a lot about Boogie? I know we talked about the documentary that came out a while back from like what's the name of the guy that did it?
Michael Klump is the name of the documentarian.
Yeah.
Apparently
I actually
he's a
watched that.
award-winning documentarian, and he said like working on this documentary just like made him depressed because Boogie is just like this big void of like depression that just like he's a professional victim. He doesn't want to take accountability for anything that he does, and he's always woe is me and it's not my fault.
So it's this Mike Klum, The Dark Sad Life of Boogie298, official documentary. I got like 20 minutes in or something, and there's a part where Mike, he literally says like he's been following Boogie around for a while now, and he just had to take a break from like spending time around Boogie or editing for his own personal mental
Was it
health.
after when
Yo.
Boogie went for the interview?
No, it was like, dude, it's 15 minutes into this hour-long documentary, where he's just like, I can't actually be around this incredibly like horrid human being. It's bad for my mental health.
yeah.
And that's when I also like I had to stop watching the documentary there. I could not physically like. It's so horrid. Like Boogie just seems like such a horrid human being.
A manipulator, a professional
yeah.
victim.
But you watched the whole thing.
Oh, it was a hard watch. But yeah, so Boogie 902 is probably the original YouTuber. He probably had one of the first human viral clips just of him being fat and
It's
just
falling into a pool.
falling into a pool. He created an alter ego called Francis, who was like
Francis.
obsessed with like Mountain Dew and stuff. Very like a lot of like viral clips that if you see it, you'll be like, oh, actually, I do remember seeing that back in the time, back in the day. Sorry. And he managed to parlay this into being into like Super Bowl commercials. He was on that show, that TL Skinny First Fat,
What?
where they make like a skinny person eat the
Eat the
diet of a fat
oh,
person.
I remember that.
And he actually was smart enough that he managed to evolve his content with the time. Where obviously when he was starting off, he was doing shorts. Then he kind of moved into like gaming reviews, commentary, and there was just like a time where people called him the Mr. Rogers of the YouTube, where he just seemed like a very wholesome, like fat guy. Like he seemed to like know that he was fat and like acknowledged it, and he was like, I am the way I am, and you should be like proud of who you are. Just like he did say, like, and I'm sure he did like help like a lot of people with like his positive way of thinking, which now if we look back was just him just pandering to just get the audience to be on his side. Because if you keep watching his videos back there, people were like, Boogie's actually is like a fence sitter. People were like, you never see him have an opinion. He's always this or that. I know
we've
had this
argued
argument
about this before, where I just say like fence sitting isn't necessarily the world's worst thing. They're just people that give what news should be is fence sitting.
There's a time and place to like sit and wait for when all the evidence is gathered.
Yeah, but
there's no need to like straight away being like even like with this Mr. Beast thing, like people are already jumping. Okay, maybe it is like a bit clickbait, but it's like Mr. Beast, like the end of Mr. Beast, like what will Mr. Beast do next? What's channel
Sunny V2, bro? The Sunny V2 video. The moment like someone loses 10 subscribers, like fell off. Actually, speaking of people that like completely hop on that bandwagon of like fell off, dead game, dead YouTuber, like is Sunny V2.
Yeah.
All of his YouTube videos is like this person fell off for this reason.
Does. To be fair, he does very great like mini documentaries.
Yeah, they're solid. But sorry, this is Boogie's channel, right?
Yeah.
Still on just under 4 million subscribers. He's like, he still gets like some views here and there. I find it very odd. This young woman.
She is like, she is 18 or 19.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, so back to Boogie. He was a professional fence sitter. Then people kind of slowly started calling him out. People like were very invested in his health journey. And he said like, I'm going to get skinny. I'm going to start like eating right. And then in like one of the vlogs, when he was supposed to be doing like the 30-day healthy eating challenge or whatever, part of his like weight loss journey, he was eating, I think, Taco Bell at like one of the video game expos. And on stream the next day, he was like, sorry guys, there's just like no healthy food around in the place, and I've got to eat, and that was the only thing available at all the food trucks at the place. And people were like immediately like no, and they're posting videos and clips from the expo of like healthy like vegan food, salads and other stuff. And like he's clearly lied, and he keep making excuse. He's never like really actually tried to like work out or eat healthy. And he's like, you know what? I've done everything I can. I'm gonna have to go for a gastro bypass.
Okay, and so the I was gonna talk about that as well. The gastro bypass is like, it is a last resort surgery.
Yeah.
It is it's technically, it gets prescribed more than it should, because it is an absolute last resort. When you do this, like they essentially just they reduce the size of your stomach. And if you ever overeat again, you run the risk of it bursting and like infecting your entire system. It is the very last resort. And 3 months prior to a surgery, doctors will say you have to lose this amount of weight, not because it's required for the surgery, but for the physician to know that you are actually capable of doing
It's a mentality thing to start getting to that mindset of eating.
It's like technically pills and stuff. Like I can see one of his most recent videos is, I started Ozempic from 2 months ago, right? Once again, Ozempic is a great drug for people. Is it diabetes?
It's with diabetes.
Yeah, but it's also a last resort.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I actually don't have an issue with people using it for weight loss. It's just that it's in such a high demand, and it's amazing for diabetes. Yeah. As soon as like we can provide for the people who need it, then let's use it for fat loss then, but not now.
Okay, I get you. Oh, do you guys know Dr. Mike?
Sounds familiar.
Dr. Mike.
Oh, he has a podcast as well. Very, very cool. Dr. Mike. This guy?
Oh yeah,
handsome fella. But he has a podcast where he just interviews like other like either YouTube physicians or all kinds of different physicians. And this guy over here, who's also called Dr. Mike.
Okay.
Dr. Mike is Rayatel. He's like bodybuilder and fitness guy, and his take on medication is kind of like yours, Hushav, in that he doesn't mind like wonder drugs coming out necessarily. More that, the people that need them get them first.
Yes.
And then second of all, in an ideal world where big pharma has managed to create like pills and so on that handle all the basic nutrients. So past that, you eat food for enjoyment.
Yeah.
But like your basic health stuff that, I don't know, keeps you slim, helps you build muscle, meets all your vitamin requirements. That is like his ideal world where that is handled by pills or pharma or whatever it might be. Which I inherently, I think, have issues with, but that could be, I don't know, a societal thing, a personal thing. I don't know. Haven't thought about it too much. But I get where you're
it's
coming
more like,
from.
make life easier for yourself and
Yeah.
then do the things that you'll be able to enjoy once you're able to get
It's
that.
literally, it's like, I think he equates it to like running water. Having running water and like geysers and all that kind of stuff has saved so much time and made lives so much easier, even though it might not be as like rewarding to go down to the river, get buckets of water, make a fire, heat it all up.
Yeah.
Which inherently I think is very satisfying to like do it. But it also just, saves time and makes life simpler.
Outdoors.
It's also, if you have pills that do it, then more of humanity has like, I guess, access. Once again, depending on the right people
having
the power to spread it out and give it to the people that need it. Dude, what is this episode about? We are coming up to the end slowly but surely.
It was epic.
We were talking about the different types of YouTubers and the fallings off, and then we were going through the boogie history. See, he tried to get skinny through gastro. Did it? He got the surgery.
Yeah. He
Got
also
skinny.
had like dentures put in.
Yeah.
He had all kinds of stuff.
Again,
done.
I have no problem with that. It's just one of those things. People are very self-conscious about their teeth. I mean, if I also lost my teeth, I'd probably also maybe do dentures.
Okay, I mean, bit of personal question. Like, I have a bit of self-consciousness with my teeth because they're like a bit more yellow than I'd like them to be. Like, I have some crooked teeth and stuff and like that.
Yeah.
So I am a bit self-conscious, not crazily, but what is your guys' threshold? Would you, if you had the money, would you just do that? Dude, what's that crazy thing that they do where they like shave down your teeth and they get
Veneers.
veneers? Would you want to do the long haul of like braces, which has its own like stigma attached to it? Would you do teeth whitening? Like, where are you guys sitting on this thing?
I also went through like a little phase where I felt very self-conscious about the like slight not white
Wait, pause.
coloration of my teeth.
Pause quickly. Can I start saying all the things you should be insecure about?
Sure.
Your face.
Shut up, Dad.
No, teeth really hit home, dude. Because
Yeah.
I've had chipped teeth since I was in like grade, like 5? I want to say 5, 6.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still feel the same way, or have you like grown more like?
No, I still feel like self-conscious about it.
Mm.
Because like I see it whenever I look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, I know it's skew, and I know like, oh, there's the crack, like I can see it. It's just one of those things where like I don't think, for example, that my smile is a good smile. Like sometimes you see people smile and it's like,
dude, it's blinding.
It looks good.
Like,
and then other times you see someone smile and you're like, you shouldn't show your teeth.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. So when I see myself smile, that's kind of what my head goes.
So it's like a question of like, would you ever have like plastic surgery done? Or like how self-conscious are you guys about certain things that can't necessarily be changed through workout or skincare or diet or whatever?
I wouldn't mind whitening my teeth like a shade or two, but like I don't know if it's still the same, but like back when I did it, when I looked at it, I think it was like around grade 10, 11, I felt self-conscious, and then I think all my photos during like that phase, I never smiled. Like I just had to go, never show teeth.
Oh, jeepers. Okay.
It's just like, it strips the enamel, doesn't make your teeth healthy. And I was like, But like if teeth whitening now, if it doesn't do that and like it doesn't really weaken your teeth, I maybe go up like a shade or two. Nothing like,
because I don't like anything like super unnatural. I think like when people have just like genuinely the sun
Have you seen
Enigma.
Firmino, the footballer Firmino's teeth?
Oh,
Is it
yeah, he's got-
Faminho?
It's also
FIRM.
also Jurgen Klopp got
Jurgen Klopp also did
teeth
it.
like that.
Firmino.
But
Their teeth.
I mean, I have to say, like, for example,
Yo,
oh,
dude,
let's-
that's
let's see
bright
this
as
first.
fuck.
That's a big old smile, eh?
That is a big old smile.
He has a great smile, but like I wouldn't go like that bright.
Mm. Okay, I got you.
Like I would say like my
the kind of white that shows up in the bowling alley, you know.
But I don't think I'm inherently against like
Plastic surgery,
yeah, like I'm not
or
inherently
or
against
like
it. It's
extra. What would you call them? Because it's
Body
going to the gym,
modifications.
eating healthy, doing like skincare routines, whatever. That is technically like I get more. It makes more. I have less of a resistance to that kind of stuff because it seems more like your own effort and going to like it's not necessarily inherently changing your body.
yeah.
Whereas for like I don't know, if we go cyberpunky, like getting crazy prosthetics in to be able to jump 50 feet in the air,
That
like
would be
that's crazy
sick.
to me.
That'd be
That's you like that? I got a weird thing when it comes to intrusive kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
In my body, like stitches
yeah.
freak me the
Don't like
fuck
it.
out.
they're
I
not,
hate it.
but they're surface level.
And that's like, but think about that. It is surface level, and they still freak me the fuck out.
Putting plates.
So
in
you
your
don't
body?
like
Dude,
the
I
thought
can't.
of
I like.
yeah,
I feel like I would
like a
want.
metal
Sometimes I get like
bone or
this thing
something.
with my nails where I'm like, they're not part of my body. I need to take them off, and I'm like, feel the need to scratch
wait, wait,
below my nails.
God forgive,
Whoa.
like touch wood that you don't have heart problems. But if you have to get a pacemaker in, you're gonna be like, no.
No, here's the thing, right? Because of like how I grew up with my parents and so on, I understand it. I understand the need for things. I do think it's like any surgery is a
Yeah.
last resort. Anything that requires literal physicians to work on your body should be the last possible resort, just after heavy medication. Anything you can do before that, like 100%. But there's like a level where it requires something extra human, I guess.
Like ideally, I would love if people could like accept some of their imperfections and learn to love themselves. But for like some people, it
But some
becomes-
people are just so ugly.
no, no, but like for some people, it becomes like a step too far, and they'll go in for like a nose job, and then or something, and then after they get that surgery, it like changes their whole outlook because they're
yeah.
able to like accept themselves and become, their mental health improves. They're able to see themselves in a positive light. So I don't think it's necessarily like a bad thing to get surgery.
Those
Plastic
are like
surgery?
example like mental health disorders. Like you can have what's that one where you look in the mirror and you see yourself and you like see yourself like you don't see yourself as how you look.
Body dysmorphia.
It's body,
Reality.
body dysmorphia. Oh, reality. So you look in the mirror and you're like, you see yourself as bigger or you see yourself as uglier or whatever it may be. Like, but it's not a true reflection of
Yeah.
of how other people see you. For example, like
Yeah.
that's a genuine like disorder that people like are gonna like struggle with. And for example, with plastic surgery, like if you wake up every morning and you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, I don't like my nose, and then you get your nose done, like you're gonna keep looking for things that
Yeah.
you could potentially change. 'Cause it's quite hectic.
Yeah, when it comes to like the mental side, I know what you're saying. People like, okay, now this, now that, but yeah, that's a very valid point. But like also at the end of the day, like plastic surgery doesn't hurt anyone. I think if you're lying about it, like what the Kardashians did when they get surgery and then
They say
they
it's all natural.
they
Hmm.
Photoshop everything in their social media to
I'm
look
not wearing
as
makeup.
as
all that.
perfect as it
Yeah.
is, which has been detrimental to the mental health of young women that we grew up with, that we're seeing the effects of now. I know Kylie Jenner recently was on a podcast and she was like crying about how people are expecting a certain level of beauty from her and she can't be like quote unquote like natural, but she and her family are the ones that made it like this. They
Yeah,
pushed
They
this.
perpetrated as
Yeah.
well.
You can't
Um,
cry about the issue that you caused.
So, when I used to teach English, right? I had a student, and she was 18, and I only taught her for like 6 months or something, nothing too long, but like super lovely kid, man, so nice. I think in the last month or two, she got a nose job. Like the moment she turned 18, she got a nose job, at just Soma. And she said it's very, very normal. So she's from Vietnam, and she says where she lived, or like a lot of kids her age, it's incredibly normal, like the moment you're of age, to just go and get some work done, regardless of what it might be. And I know that in places like South Korea, there's a very big, like,
especially in the K-pop industry.
There's a very big look that gets pushed on people. And it's not stigmatized necessarily to have work done, but they also don't talk about it as much. I think it's like it's an open secret, and that everyone has work done, but no one says what. So it's always like a guess as to how much or what they've had done. I personally don't. I've got this weird stigma against any kind of genuine surgical work.
Okay, so surgical specifically. So like tattoos, you wouldn't have a problem with.
Yeah, no, that's not an issue. It's not fundamentally changing
Brazilian
the way,
butt lift.
It's fundamentally changing the way you look.
So you have an issue with it?
I guess it feels. I haven't like sat down with myself to fully explore why. Off the top of my head, I could say like some things feel like you're just taking the easy way out. You're taking the shortcut, or you're needlessly hating on yourself because you don't like this other person. Like any reason I can think of, it feels negative to have had work done. You did give a good example of like being able to look at yourself, which is
and build confidence from that.
Build confidence, but to me, and once again, I'm just a dude living my life out here. I don't know. I don't have the answers to everything.
Yeah.
But I feel that if you have a strong support system of people that love you, if you go see a therapist, if you consider doing surgical work before you're seeing like a mental health practitioner, that seems completely illogical to me. You've jumped several steps. And if your negative outlook on yourself is then linked to literal chemical imbalances and psychological like issues or like mental health problems, right? The jump would then be psychologist, psychiatrist, medical, like pill intervention or medical intervention, and then if nothing else works, surgery.
I remember, I don't think it was a movement, but it was something that was talked about where plastic surgeries should only be not commissioned, but psychiatrists should be the only one who could tell you, okay, you've tried everything else now.
Yeah.
Like maybe try plastic surgery. It shouldn't just be anyone could just go in and be like, get this done, which pros and cons. But like I said before, I don't mind as long as you're honest with it.
Okay.
Like if you come in the next day and you're like super skinny and you're just like, oh no, man, I've just been working so hard.
I spent 15 hours in the gym yesterday.
If you just tell me like, no, yeah, I've just been taking Ozempic. First of all, you're like, fuck you, that's not for you, it's for diabetes, diabetic patients. But like in this like scenario, let's say Ozempic is fine and all diabetic patients are able to get their hands on it, I'll be like, cool, good for you.
Okay.
Don't care.
It's
as long as you're being honest
issue.
with it, because I think the moment you start being dishonest, you're gonna start to perpetrate that like negative image of yourself, because now you're lying to yourself without being honest about it.
You don't know the kind of effect it'll have on the people around you. If I walk in here tomorrow and I blind you guys with my like perfectly straight teeth and smile, and I'm like, no, I just
ate some charcoal.
Ate some charcoal, bro.
Yeah.
I use charcoal toothpaste.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And then like that would make no sense, because then you guys would be like, holy shit, like what is Bjorn doing? That's like this. Now should my teeth look like that naturally?
Would you get?
This is also my thing with fitness content creators. I don't believe any of them.
Okay,
because like they can be taking steroids, they can be taking Ozempic, they can be, depending on what their brand is, building muscle,
being
weight.
on it. Oh, dude, what's it? Noel Daisal.
Yeah, someone who's very like open about his
steroid use, which is phenomenal. Also with that Dr. Mike Israetel guy, he also said like he's very open and honest. Like he is not natural. He uses performance enhancing drugs to look the way he does.
Yeah,
but he also talks about the negative side effects of like how he feels he feels like he has a blanket over his head all the time. He's a super intelligent guy, and if he's that smart with a blanket over his head, I can't imagine how good he'd be without the like brain fog. But being honest with yourself,
especially like in the new Deadpool and Wolverine, people are looking at pictures of Hugh Jackman now compared to when he first played Wolverine back in the first X-Men come out,
2004, 2002.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can probably there's probably like a comparison, but like it's like night and day, and it's just like obvious that it's steroids. Like that's the only way that he could have the body that he has right now
Well,
at
he's
that
like
age.
what, 55?
Yeah, and there's like nothing wrong with it. Like you're not competing in any sports. It's not like you're doing it to gain an advantage. It's for entertainment, and as long as it's being done, it's been monitored by doctors, and there's no risk to him. I have like no issue with it, because that like the one on the left, that's very obviously a man who goes to gym maybe 3 or 4 times and is in pretty good shape.
3 or 4 times a week, not just in his life.
No, yeah, not in his life, yeah. Versus, obviously he's still going to the gym, but that is there's drugs involved in that.
There's also the prep for those scenes. I think it was Hugh Jackman talking about it, where he says like when there are scenes where he's gonna have his shirt off, and you have to see the full superhero level physique. He's on like an exclusive potato diet for like 2 days beforehand. He's not allowed to have any liquids for 12 hours before shooting. It's something crazy.
Water weight.
Because you're dehydrating your body. There's a great Aussie guy, actually. He does bodybuilding. He does bodybuilding content creation. And he talks about like what it's like in the run up to a competition. And it is miserable, dude. You're eating like 1,200 calories a day, which is half of what you should be getting. You're constantly tired. You're miserable. You're practically peeing blood. Like being in that level of physique is horrid on your body.
Yeah.
And unless you're a 19-year-old kid, like this is pretty much unachievable. Hugh Jackman's in his 50s, man.
Yeah.
Like it is, he is wrecking his body to look like that for those like 10-second shots.
I'm sure at this point, like it's done, like I said, it's been monitored by doctors and it's doing it
for sure
to keep him as like, the most healthy he can be without it being detrimental to his liver.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the new movie, he's wearing the yellow suit most of the time.
The classic
the
yellow
classic.
suit.
There's a
the
big
hood.
scene when like his shirt is off that like I was like when you were talking about like what he has to go through. You can see every sinew, every like.
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
can
and
see
I
the
was just like
muscles
thinking
below
like,
skin.
how much more did he have to do for that scene alone?
Because you're also doing a pump beforehand, and it's not a light pump; it's a strong fucking pump. But yeah, so that's just a whole thing on mental health, and especially for us dudes, right? I think there is a lot of talk about women's body image, and there's a lot more like
they've definitely been going through it much longer than we have.
for
I think
sure.
with the rise of social media, men's mental health, especially how they look physically, has taken a dive.
Yeah.
Especially with like I said before, content creators pretending to be all natural.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about the fucking Liver King for days.
Oh, Liver King.
To be okay, Kieran
gonna mention
loved
that,
the Liver
actually.
King.
Not you were gonna do his ancient
as a meme,
as a meme,
funny,
as like Kieran didn't give a shit about the health, like the health.
Oh, I
information.
thought Kieran, I thought you were
He was
going.
always
I thought you were
he was
going to
shouting,
buy
like, Primal.
Bull.
as a meme,
like-
he's hilarious. Him seeing someone eat a vegetable, being like sub primal.
I thought you were about to tell me that you were out there buying balls,
No,
ball
no.
sacks, and eating it, being like that primal
dude,
diet.
I hate liver. I hate my least favorite food ever. Probably liver.
Right
The
right
smell,
alongside
the
vegetables.
texture.
apparently.
Hey, well, we discussed this. I like onions, so
Kieran, I need you. I barely consider potato and onions vegetables. I got to be honest.
okay.
They're like
What do you want me to say? Broccoli or something?
yes.
Broccoli is
That's a
good.
vegetable.
Broccoli is phenomenal. It's so anything across the board. Everyone needs more green in their diet, and I'm not talking
Steamed
fucking
broccoli is
grass.
great.
Broccoli is delicious, and you don't necessarily just have to have it steamed. You can fucking
You can pour some cheese over it if you want.
Ooh, dude, it's delicious. Like cauliflower.
That's the only way I
broccoli.
eat it.
Brussels sprouts I've been getting into. Cabbage is banging. I don't know what it is.
Ooh,
with
you
like,
can do the
dude, I
Brussels
just-
sprouts and you wrap the bacon around it. That's really good. I know
dude,
you can't have that.
I know, but like it doesn't necessarily have to be the healthiest thing, but just have more green in your diet. It's so good for your body. Beans, dude. Beans are banging.
I'm
Beans
so
are
glad
good.
my work
Beans
gives
are
me salad
fine.
every day. Otherwise, I would be having 0 greens.
But yeah, no, the Liver King as a meme was
Sure.
phenomenal.
Very funny.
I
Yeah.
don't know what impact he had on people's like body image and
There were
stuff.
definitely people who were like doing that. So, like,
Yeah.
probably like younger kids. I'd like to think like you hit a certain age and you'd look at the body and be like, that's not natural.
Mm.
But,
But either way, today's episode has been a lot about the rise and fall of people, the effect stardom and stuff has on you, wanting to
Us.
keep up with appearances,
Mhm.
us,
Good luck
lots
to
of
you to come up
mental
with a
health.
name for this episode.
Fuck knows, dude. When did that become my job, by the way? Anyways, today's had a lot of different topics, kind of related, but who really knows? If you have anything you'd like to share on it, if you're on the audio platforms, please feel free to tweet at us or send us a message on X, on
Twitter, we don't call it that.
on Instagram, on TikTok, regardless of where we are. We're
Yeah.
potentially going to be uploading more short form content on those. Who knows? If you're on YouTube, feel free to drop it down in the comment section
comments.
down below. And on your way down there, don't forget to click the like button and maybe hit a subscribe if you enjoy the episode.
Road to
we're-
100 subscribers.
Yes. We'll get in there.
We
Oh, let us know in the
my
comments
God.
about a live service game being unfinished or not. Which
Say
side,
that.
which side are you on?
Do you understand my point though? Do you get what I'm saying? Anyways, my name is Bjorn.
I'm Ushav.
I'm Kieran.
And this has been the Underleveled podcast. If there's anything you want to share with us, maybe something we said today resonated with you, or you have, an opinion to share on like why we're super fucking wrong, please just give us a shout. We're open to any and all hate, especially as directed at the other two people and not me. I'm a sensitive little child. Just like Boogie2988, I am always a victim.
Were you gonna start dating a 19-year-old now?
Oh, that's so gross.
You see, he got the word liar tattooed on him.
Yeah,
Did
that
see
was
that.
the
That was his top.
that was one of
views,
his like his
150.
second most recent video. So gross.
He's fully like leaned into it. Like he's become self-aware that he's a lol car and is just completely.
Did you see his
leaned into it.
most recent video? It's called "Buying Supplies for the Lolcal Stream."
Yeah, because he's on a podcast called Lolcal Live.
Yeah, with
Oh,
One of
Keemstar.
the-
Didn't
yeah.
Keemstar fire him?
Fired him. then
Anyways,
rehired him. It's an entire other thing.
It's a whole
When
mess.
Boogie does something else, we'll bring it up again.
Bye.
Bye.
all right, cheers. See ya. Bye.